What's up, everybody? I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreens.com, and I got another movie to review for you guys, and that would be Eating Animals. Now, this is a documentary directed by Christopher Dylan Quinn, narrated by Natalie Portman, and it's based off of a book of the same name, and it focuses on the kind of truths and the dark secrets of factory farming done by corporations versus, local farmers. Factory farming is what corporations do because people love their cheap meat, and they got to keep up with demand, so they have to grow these animals faster. So they do it with unethical practices by injecting them with hormones, making them bigger than they actually are, to a point where the chickens are breaking their legs when they walk. A lot of them are dying in these really enclosed pens with no sunlight, and disease runs rampant, and animal abuse happens from the people that work there. And so this documentary kind of focuses on that, and we get testimonials from local farmers and how corporations put them out of business, and we just kind of see the horrible state that these corporations will go to, and the lengths that they will go to just to sell some cheap chicken nuggets in a bag. So I had no idea what this movie was about going in. I knew it had to do something with the food industry, but I never read up on it. I just kind of jumped in blind, didn't see any trailer. And I gotta tell you, I like it. I mean, it's a solid look into factory farming if you don't know what it is. And there's a lot of horrific imagery to where Mr. Quinn impermeates your brain with, and it does not leave. If you are a lover of animals, you will hate this movie, and it will just make you want to rally against these corporations. If you are a person that eats meat like I am, you're still going to be horrified. And it's just, you're like, listen, I don't mind eating meat, but can we not do this to animals, super abuse them like that? So it's a documentary that's effective, but I think one of the major kind of things that I took away was it's a solid look, but it's oversaturated in a market, this movie is in an oversaturated market of these food documentaries. I mean, you have movies out there like Food Inc., Fed Up, Super Size Me, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, Forks Over Knives. There's one on sugar, there's one on bread, there's one on vegetables and produce. I mean, there's so many food documentaries out there kind of uncovering secrets, within these corporations, that this documentary seems a little too late for its time. I feel like it should have come out, years ago, right when those food documentaries were starting to hit. But I did find the information helpful, especially if you're not familiar with factory farming. I think this is a great documentary to kind of introduce you to that. The documentary kind of starts out with Colonel Sanders and how he started his fried chicken business and how he cared about the quality, and he was one of the first to kind of pioneer the pressure cooker to cook food faster for a mass amount of people in a short amount of time. And so when he sold his company, one of his last final dying words on his one of his last interviews was, when I sold my company, these people did not care about quality, and they just wanted to pump out quantity, no matter how they did it. And that's something that kind of sticks with you. But as the documentary kind of plays out, it does get a little stale. It kind of goes back and forth, doesn't really have any variation. We see a bunch of whistleblower footage, getting inside these corporations and really showing the animal abuse and just the disgusting practices that these corporations do. And then we kind of see in testimonials, local farmers where, yes, they still kill animals for meat and for pay, but they do it in a humane way. They care about the animals. They care about their craft, because farming is not this weird thing that's been introduced recently. I mean, this is a century-old practice, and so, it's not like, all of a sudden people are just against farming. People are against ugly practices, and that's what this documentary kind of focuses on. So when we see these local farmers, talk about how these corporations, push them out of business because they force them to either work with them or they're going to crush them. It's just a really sad state of affairs. And just to know that, greed is super powerful, man. And it can sway people into crushing small businesses and not really caring, not having any empathy whatsoever, and just crush your competition. And so watching these local farmers kind of talk, it's just you really feel for them, and you really feel like they love their job, and they love these animals even to the last moments, their last dying moments when they ship them off. It's a documentary that makes you like upset the way these corporations are doing their business. I'm not saying all of them do it, but some of them. And then it just makes you also depressed that these hardworking people are losing their farms and stuff because they can't sustain it, because no one will pay for their meat or their services, because of course, like companies like Tyson and Purdue, they make cheaper product, and it's just a a bad cycle of business, man. And so I think what, like I said, this documentary does well is that it introduces some interesting kind of background stuff with like the KFC stuff. It gets a little repetitive, going back and forth between showing something horrific at the corporations and showing a local farmer talking about their experience. I wish there was more to it to kind of cut through the fray of food documentaries that we have out there. This one just kind of blended in with everything else I have seen, and it didn't really have any sustaining power. It had a great opening, a great, kind of roll into the second half, and then it kind of fizzles out because it gets a little stale going back and forth between the same old stuff. It is effective. Don't get me wrong. I think the messages are loud and clear. The animal abuse is frightening, and it gets under your skin. And another thing I really appreciate is that this director doesn't fully say, go vegan or go vegetarian. He crafts it in a way to where he basically implies eat less meat. Maybe kind of wean off of it in the future. Or if you're going to still continue to eat it from local farmers. That's not a bad message. All these food documentaries I've seen have hit hard with the vegan and the vegetarian, ploy. And me as a omnivore, I like both. I do get disgusted and I'll back away for a while, but then I'll go back to meat because I'm addicted to it, and I'm not ashamed of that. But I think watching stuff like this will open up my eyes a lot more and want to go to like local farmers markets and maybe in the future kind of wean off of it a little bit. And even towards the end of the documentary, they had a solution for, I believe it was China, to cut meat consumption in half by like 50%, because their culture, they even stated, is that they didn't really have meat. It was like mostly vegetables, and meat was like a rare thing. And now meat is, so abundant, it's required for every meal. And it's interesting solutions to a problem, but that means you have to convert a lot of people, and that's just going to be tough. And so this movie doesn't really present any like clear solutions, but I appreciate its effort, and I appreciate the imagery to get its point across. I wish there was just a little bit more oomph to it to kind of cut through what we've already got so far. But Natalie Portman's narration, great. Cinematography, it's crisp, it's beautiful. The landscapes look wonderful. The greens pop out. The blues are vibrant. And the farms look really great on these local farms. They're just simply beautiful with all the gardens and stuff. So this is not a bad documentary. I just wish there was a little bit more. But I will give Eating Animals a B-. Like I said, solid doc into the look of factory farming. If you don't even know what it is, I think it's a great look, and it will disgust you. But it just, with the competition out there, it just needs to do a little bit more. So a B- for me for Eating Animals. But what about you guys? Have you even heard of it? Comment in that place that's right below my face to let me know. And as always, guys, I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreens.com. And tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.